Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us after a busy few days for the New Jersey Devils hockey team. We're pleased to be joined by General Manager, Executive Vice President Tom Fitzgerald. We will open it up to questions shortly. As a reminder, send a note directly to me, and I'll add your name to the queue. We'll lead off with Amanda Stein, NewJerseyDevils.com.
Fitzy, congratulations for a busy few days and getting some work done. Let's start with Timo, obviously the latest. What does it mean to you to know that you brought in a player at the trade deadline? You said he would love it here and want to commit long-term, and that comes to fruition.
Yeah. You know what? I bet on New Jersey. I bet on what we have to offer players. I bet on our facility. I bet on, the limited time traveling. I bet on the suburbs and Jersey City and Hoboken. I bet on our team, and felt just coming in and kind of experience this. You know what? We're showing people around the league that we are now a destiny for players. And I have to give credit to the players, to our core players who continue to lift us up and show the rest of the league that we are serious about, putting a championship type roster on the ice. So again, I hedged the bet on us, and I hedged the bet on what we can offer players, and we won.
I know, obviously with your experience having played, do you as a player take notice of that when you're a player, maybe entering a time where you're going to be able to switch teams or whatnot? Does that resonate throughout the league when you start seeing this kind of snowball effect?
I think so. Yeah, I do. Now things have obviously drastically changed since
Yes.
my playing deal. Term contracts for like 3 years. That's my God, 3 years. This is great. You have to give the players really a lot of the credit because they're making a commitment to a big portion of their life to spend in one place, or that's the goal, to stay in one place. So again, like I said, I played close to 1,100 games, and I would say the New Jersey Devils were the team I probably played the most games against. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know New Jersey then how I know it now. And I've said this, it's a hidden gem. People don't know about it until they get here and go, wow, this is awesome.
One of the things we haven't had a chance to talk to you about in terms of news is Travis Green coming in as an associate coach. Can you speak to kind of your conversations with him? What made him a choice for you guys, and why he is the right fit right now in the absence of Bruno?
Well, first and foremost, Travis and I go way back.
Yep.
We're Islander draft picks, played together on the island, played together, reconnected in Toronto, and then reconnected my last year in Boston. He's a good person. He comes from a great family. He's I know his family well, but I know the passion that he has for the game of hockey, and he's really grown as a person from when I played with him. But he showed in Vancouver, what kind of head coach he could be. What he wanted to do now is, take the next step and learn from somebody like Lindy Ruff, with the abundance of experience he has that could offer Travis to continue to grow and develop. What I like, again, it's his growth mindset that he wants to continue to grow. He's nowhere near where he thinks he can be the best coach possible. We're very fortunate to have Travis. He's just his overall, he can relate to players. He understands, the being a head coach as an assistant, what that means. So we're again, I think we're very lucky, very fortunate that Travis chose us.
Last one for me for now is the decision to move on from Mackenzie Blackwood. Did you just feel that it was time for the two sides to go their own way, maybe give Mackenzie a new bit of life in his career? Just how do you sort of gauge what happened there and why it was necessary to make that move?
Well, it's the evolution of team building, right? The players who are here for quite some time, and you just start seeing changes. And we wish Mackenzie nothing but the best. He was great for us. I think going back to, people may forget, like going back to the 2019-20 season before the league shut down, he was really good. He was a really good goalie. COVID comes, he gets hit with it probably the hardest of all my players. And then he's got some small issues with, you know, I don't want to get into it, but things lingered on. And now we're in a shorter season. You got to remember too, like we try to support McKenzie with a Corey Crawford.
Yep.
Oh, he didn't want to play anymore. Then we bring in Jonathan Bernier, who was a hell of a teammate for these guys, but he was hurt. So it was like McKenzie was on an island probably by himself a little bit. That's why we went out last summer and traded for VTech to support McKenzie and have these guys, you know, battle. But hey, he's going to get an opportunity in San Jose. They've got the opening. He has he has a chance right now to kind of put his career back on map to where it was pre-pandemic.
Does this mean that maybe you're looking at potentially bringing in another goaltender, or are you comfortable with a duo sort of thing?
It's the magical question. You know, like, what do you do? I'm still trying to improve our team. VTech had 30 plus wins last year, and he was fantastic for us. He did everything we felt he could do for us. Schmidt has grown. Like, you know, you look at 3 years ago, he was in the USHL. Then he comes into Utica and gets off to that fantastic start. We have to use him in a certain amount of games. And, you know, it's unfair that him and Dawes were thrown in a situation where maybe they shouldn't have. You fast forward to last year, you could just see the growth in Akira's, you know, game, his maturity, his you know, more importantly, probably is the players in front of him, how much they reacted and how confident they were playing in front of him. Goaltending is a discussion that we have daily on which way we will go. I don't have any answers other than we love VTech, and we love Schmidt, and we love Dawes, and we've got some more coming. But we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Thanks, Fitz.
If it comes.
Thank you, Amanda. Our next question go to Anthony Fusilli, MSG Network.
Hi, Fitzy. Congratulations. Just first of all, is there a sense of relief to get Timo done? And how much more do you think his game can be lifted now that he'll be a part of this team next year, the whole season?
Okay. Well, we think the world of Timo. The commitment that David Blitzer, Josh Harris have bestowed on me to build this team and make that commitment to Timo and his family, you know, just tells you what kind of ownership we have. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I truly believe you build your team in the summer. They grow together, they win together, they lose together, they do everything together. Timo came in at a time where we were very grateful and thankful that we can get that deal done to get him into the mix from deadline on. It's tough. It really is. And I can speak firsthand on being traded at deadlines. It really is tough from expectations, you know, your own standards, learning a new system. And Timo's, you know, he's human. It's hard. But we saw him getting better and better and better as games kind of clicked off the map. I think he's going to be fantastic, you know, with the experience he had last year. He's super excited. We're as excited. When we made that trade back in March, it wasn't about March to whenever the season ended. It was about securing the future with Timo Meier, and we did that today. I will have to say I give Timo's agent Claude Lemieux a ton of credit. You know, he looks out for his player. But also knows what it's like here in New Jersey. At the end of the day, Timo Meier had to experience what we could offer him to understand that this was the right place for him. And so we're so grateful that he's here for the long term.
You traded a talented player in Shevin Govitz, but you know, you got back a player in Tyler. Just tell us your thought process and how you think you improve the team.
I mean, look at his resume. I mean, this is a two-time Stanley Cup champion. He's a right shot. He had 34 goals last year, 73 points. We think, you know, even at 31 years old, that Tyler Toffoli has a lot more to give and offer. His experience of winning, you just can't teach them. You just can't learn that. You need people to help you understand what it's like to go 4 rounds in a playoff. It's hard. We just won 2. It was hard. our goal is to win a Stanley Cup. So for me, adding players with championship pedigree, it can only help our young players understand really what it takes to win. Like I said, he's a right shot. He's a top 6 player. He's proven that he's a pure goal scorer. I don't know. To win hockey games, you got to score goals. So we're thankful that we got that done.
And finally, speaking of scoring goals, you look at your top 6. I mean, on paper, what goes through your mind?
To be honest with you, it's not top 6. We want to be the best top 9 team in the league, along with a fourth line that can play against any other top line to help offset matchups. That's the goal here. You know, you look at the champions that have won. They have depth, they have scoring, really good special teams, very disciplined, they're very committed, and that's the culture we're building here in New Jersey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Fuch. Our next question goes to Ryan Novozinski, NJ.com.
Hey, Tom, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Ryan.
Good. I was wondering if you could scene set for us a little bit, just take us into the war room. You're down there in Nashville, on what happened when the Meier extension was finally finalized. Just kind of scene set for us a little bit.
Sure. This just didn't start here in Nashville. Claude Lemieux and I have had multiple conversations. I made it clear at the start that I would leave Timo alone, let him get acclimated to his new environment, understand what we were as an organization, what we could offer outside of hockey. Hockey itself, I mean, we've got some talented players that Timo could play with. I left him alone, and then once the season ended, we started kicking things around. Claude was awesome to deal with, and I have to thank Timo and his family for really pushing this over the goal line. So really the process started, to be quite honest, we were probably the only team that was given permission to try to work out a deal with Timo before the trade deadline. We couldn't do that, but we were very comfortable. Ownership was very comfortable of exactly what I've been saying. Let's sell Timo Meier on what we are, who we are, what we can offer, and actually play on a really good team with really good young players. So we made that deal anyways, knowing that, again, hedging a bet on us.
And Tom, you look at some of the contracts just on this team, be it Timo's or Jesper's or, even Jackson and a couple other guys. Players across the league seem to be, fluctuates a lot. Like some players demand more than others. How are you able to get, this core group of players at such good value, it seems?
Well, I said this, after we signed Jesper, they're all independent. Like they're different commodities. Some guys offer X, Y, and Z. The market shifts into a certain area. All I care about is when you sign a contract, you're happy with it and you're comfortable with it and you're excited about being here. That's all I want. I want people who want to be here. From Jack Hughes' commitment, starting before with Nico, Jack, now Jesper, Timo, Eric Holla coming in, same thing. Come on in and you test drive us. You understand what we are, what we can offer. Dougie Hamilton making the commitment. Andre Palat making the commitment. Again, I just think we have so much to offer. And I'm not even getting into hockey yet. We're building a team here that we believe can challenge each and every year for the ultimate goal, to win Stanley Cups.
And I guess, with tonight being the first round of the draft, I know you teased it a little bit, maybe trading into the first round. Do you expect to pick tonight?
You never say never, but you know what, right now, there's really nothing on the horizon. But this is what good teams go through. They sit on day one of a draft and kind of watch everything else going around them, because they've given up these assets to become better. And we did that with Timo this year. It's actually fun.
That's great. And, in terms of the RFAs, do you plan on qualifying the remainder of them?
That's again discussions that we're going through right now. We still have a few days to decide what we really want to do with a few of them, and or just try to, there are maybe a couple that we want back, but we don't want to, maybe there are cases a little too high, and we're not interested in that, to be quite honest. So is there the possibilities of working out a deal prior? Yeah, there is, and I think we will with a few of them.
And then, again, with the UFAs too, guys like Tatar and Graves and Miles Wood, do you anticipate that they'll test free agency, or are you getting close with any of them?
No, they're going to test free agency. You become a good team because you have replacements within your organization for players that are come UFA. When you become a UFA, you've earned the right to shop yourself around to the rest of the league and try to maximize your self-worth, right? And that's what all these guys have done. So that doesn't mean we don't circle back with them after July 1, but leading up to July 1st, we're worried about our RFAs.
Yeah, and then last two for me is the Lindy extension. Has that been finalized yet? And how many years?
No, hasn't. Lindy and I, that's something else. That's another thing on my plate that I have to get off. Again, need some more communication with ownership. But Lindy knows that this is his home.
And just in terms of free agency, I guess, with how busy it's been just in these early couple weeks, what do you expect free agency to look like for this team?
Not really sure much at all, to be honest with you. Like, where our goals were to re-sign our players. We did that with Jesper. We did that with Timo. We did that with Hall. Now, we make a trade for Tyler Toffoli. We have to give some kids an opportunity. That doesn't mean that we won't try to add, but we want to add the right pieces. We'll look at our back end, and you know what? You lose guys like Kala. We believe Ball can replace. Graves. My bad. You potentially lose a Graves, but you know what? The pecking order now happens with Ball. Like, can Ball replace him? We think he can. We think this upside is going to be high. What do we do on the right side? We lose Damon Severson. Maybe you're looking for a right shot deep. I've been told by our people that Simone Nemeth is really going to push for a spot. So we've got flexibility, that's for sure.
Thanks, Tom. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ryan. Our next question will go to Dan Rosen, NHL.com.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for doing this.
Again.
How you doing? Tyler Toffoli. Do you kind of look at Tyler as an 82-game rental?
No, I actually don't. But with that being said, and I've said this before, and I said it about other players, Timo, Meier, Hall, like, come see what we're all about. He gets a chance to test drive us. He gets a test drive. He played in Montreal, I believe, during the shortened season there. Travel was a little different. Maybe it was the Canadian division, but he's going to experience like the travel, Dan, as you know, in the metro area. It's the best in the league. So you know what, I getting the player was the first thing, and the only thing I wanted to do. What happens here from here on in, I have no idea. But we like the player. I wouldn't trade it for the player if I didn't want to build a relationship long term with the player. But that'll take care of itself.
And the last one for me, you look at the landscape here of what you've got. I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. You have around 10 million in cap space available. You've got, I think, 9 forward signed, 5D. I mean, you have some of these RFAs, obviously, that could be back. What are you looking for now? Like, what's next? How do you feel? What do you need to do to fill out this team? Like you say, teams are built in the summer. What do you need to do to fill out this team now in order to feel like you've built the team you want this summer?
You know what? Like, you're looking for a little bit of everything, really. But first and foremost, like skill. We've got our skill players. We've got some bigger forwards now. We've got some heavier forwards now. Adding Tyler, and obviously with Timo, Palat last summer. I'm just trying to build out, the most rounded team that I possibly can that has a chance to win. I can't just have all skill players and light, fast players. We need to build out the team with a really good, diverse mix. On the back end, there's no question. I've stated this a couple of years ago. I want bigger, mobile defensemen because they're hard to play against. That doesn't mean I want just all harder type defensemen. They got to be able to move pucks. We are a fast, quick transition team, and they have to be able to move pucks out of our end and really give our goalie a chance to make the first save. So again, yes, we know what our cap space is. We know that what we're looking for, but I've got to really figure out a couple of these players internally, how we can maximize, who they are and what our cap space tells us we can actually spend on players. So, yeah, we're just chipping away.
Thanks, Tom. See you in a few.
Bye.
Thank you, Dan. Our next question go to Ken Campbell, Hockey Unfiltered.
Hi, Tom.
I can.
Hi, how you doing? Tom, you talked about winning a Stanley Cup, and there's always a time that you build towards that. And I think up until now, that might not have been the New Jersey Devils' time, but you've got the young players, you've filled in with the veterans, with the Hamiltons and the Palots, and now the Toffolis and everything. Is that time now? And by now, I mean 2023, 24. Is it now?
Listen, it's tough to win. There's only one winner at the end of the day. One team goes home happy. 31 other teams are trying to figure out how they can get to be that one team. And that's all I'm trying to do. I've said this before, Ken, I'll say it again. Our window just opened up. What we went through last year, I think, is only going to help where we want to go and where we are going. I don't think anyone expected this team to be where we were last year. I give credit to the players, the coaching staff, the entire hockey operations department for where we are, because we try to figure out how we can get better for this team to grow, and we did that. I think that is going to pay forward for this group, along with adding the Toffolis and adding Holla long-term and Meier commitment, and coming in at training camp and being really comfortable with what we're trying to do. Yeah, now is a better time than ever to try to win hockey games. But like I said, it's tough to win in this league, and what we went through last year, I think, is only going to pay forward and help this team moving forward.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Ken. Our next question go to Josh Renitz, the Hockey Writers.
Hey, Tom, thanks for doing this. Just wanted to know with Damon and Ryan Graves leaving, you feel comfortable going forward into training camp with the guys you have as young as they are, or do you feel like you have to add just some veteran presence to the back end?
I'm very comfortable. Very comfortable. Kevin Ball is going to be a really good player. I think we all saw Luke Hughes in a small sample size in the playoffs and what he did in that small samples, and think, oh my God, how much better can this kid get as the longer he's around, has a real training camp. Brendan Smith is a quality person, a good NHL player. I'd like to add something. At what depth? Not really sure. But I'm very comfortable with what we have and moving forward for sure. Simone Nemec may be ready. He may not be ready. Training camp will tell us. So no, very, very comfortable. Losing players like Damon, it's hard to replace, but we absolutely believe that eventually a player like Simone can replace Damon. Maybe as quick as this year, Luke Hughes bypasses Damon in a month. I have no idea, but that's why we drafted Luke as high as we did and Simone as high as we did, because of their upside. But we do have faith, and we've got other guys down in the American Hockey League, learning how to play, understanding the league, that we believe can come up and give us value.
And then just finally, going into the season, is there a certain amount of cap space you need to have the flexibility you need to be able to make whatever moves you need to move forward?
Yeah, I think everybody, for us in particular, like we're trying to back out from that point. Okay, what do we want to hedge ourselves at the end? What can that accrue to? By the deadline, We've got entry level players who actually could hit their bonuses, versus having overages, pushing forward next year. I kind of want to stay away from that. So yeah, we hedge ourselves an amount that we feel very comfortable with. That could help us at the deadline to add around the edges, or again, absorb some overage because our entry level guys hit on their bonuses. So, but we back it out from that.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Josh. Our next question go to James Nichols, NJD Hockey Now.
Hey, Tom, congratulations on a really excellent couple of days. I know I asked you this last time, but now that you have more clarity for your future, how high on your priority list is it now to get Dawson Mercer's contract, settled? And has that, maybe started between the last time I asked and now?
No, it hasn't actually. So it doesn't mean he's not a priority. I just had my to-do list needed my attention immediately to help build, to help grow, and to really help secure what we're trying to do. Dawson is, and he knows it, his agent knows it. We feel he's a long-time Devil. I hope all these guys play their whole careers in New Jersey. So again, that stuff will take care of itself. But I'm sure I'll have a conversation at some point, James, once things really settle down.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, James. Our next question go to Trey Matthews, Pucks and Pitchforks.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this once again, Tom. My first question for you is, when Timo was first acquired, the scoring numbers did go down. However, his physicality was on full display. How well do you think Timo was utilized this past year?
Again, I go back to adjustment time. It takes time. I've said this over and over again. You make a judgment, you pass judgment on your team probably around the 20 game mark, might be the 25 game mark, but where things are starting to click, guys are knowing their system, he didn't have that luxury. He didn't, but we did see him get better and better and better. He is a physical specialist. He's physical, he gets to the net, he's heavy on pucks. We all know he can shoot the puck. I just think having time now spent with us and then moving forward, he's only going to get better as a player, more comfortable. And I said this moments ago, like, we're looking to build the best top 9 in the league with a fourth line that really isn't a fourth line, but can play against other teams' top lines and give Nico a rest. And we're getting there. So with Timo, it's like, how do we exploit matchups? Well, you have be 3 lines deep offensively and have mismatches on in-game mismatches. So I think Timo came in. I think what we saw towards the end, how he was continuing to elevate his game, was exactly what we traded for.
Awesome. You've been a part of a Stanley Cup winning organization before. How does this current Devils team compare to that?
We've got talent. We had talent in Pittsburgh. We had veterans who came in who won. We've added that here. We drafted well in Pittsburgh. I think we're drafting well here. We made decisions on players because of the processes that we have in place to try as hard as we can to make perfect decisions. We did that in Pittsburgh. So I learned a lot from Ray Shero and how he did things, but I bring my own little flavor as well. But I got to give credit to my team, my hockey ops team, and how we conduct business and how we dissect things and how we challenge each other. But at the end of the day, you know what? We support one another, and there has to be one person who makes the decision, and that's me. But it's not without taking every single information I get from every single department to somehow try to make the proper decisions when we need to make decisions.
My final question for you is, I know you touched on this briefly, but I was wondering if you could go into a little bit more detail. How much more potential does this team have now that Tyler Toffoli is added to the roster? What are you hoping that he can specifically provide for your organization?
Like I said, leadership, winning pedigree, right shot, power play guy, heavy, getting heavier on pucks, really good support to skilled players. And we have that. He's a good person. You know, he knows how to win. I can't tell you how many text messages I've gotten from ex people who have been around this player in the different organizations he's been in, the quality of person he is. And that's all we're trying to do. I don't care really how good you are. You got to be a good person too. You know, like you got to be a good teammate. You got to be able to coexist and work together. Lots of like. I wouldn't have made the trade if I didn't feel this strong about the player.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, Trey. Our last question, we'll circle back to Amanda Stein, NewJerseyDevils.com.
Fitz, I just want to get your thoughts on the NHL awards. Obviously, none of the guys won, but everyone who was up for a nomination came in second in voting, and what that sort of means to you to see. I mean, I guess everything we've been talking about, what it sort of means to see that happen.
Well, I don't think it'll be the last time you see these people at the award show. Again, it says so much about the individuals, what kind of years they had, where they are in the maturation process, and their window is just opening up as well. I think Jack Hughes, never mind just the Lady Byng, I do think he'll be a future MVP Hart candidate. I think Nico absolutely could be, you know, that player year in, year out up for the Selke Trophy because of how much he values 200 feet of the ice. You know, Lindy Ruff, what a great year he had as head coach. You know, what he did, the turnaround that we had as an organization from him. And you know what, the greatest part about Lindy is that he would deflect all this praise to his coaches and how they helped him. And again, it comes back down to people. These are great people. I'm talking about their families who I got to spend some time with here in Nashville. They're just great people, but they're really good at hockey too.
And finally, just with all these additions that you've made, and whether it's extending Jesper or bringing in new players like Toffoli, when you talk to them, is there like a common thread about what they see going on with this team, what excites them about this team when you have those conversations with them?
For sure. You know, like you gotta remember where some of these kids started and where we were in the phase of our organization. You know, it was hard. It was hard selling off players. We knew we had to do this the right way. We knew the players that we were drafting. We also lucked out. I mean, you know, we lucked out. You know, Ray drafted Nico because we got the first pick. Ray drafted Jack. You got to get lucky sometimes to be good. And we got some luck. So now we have these two pillars that now we can build around. But it's not easy selling off. It's not easy, you know, trading friends. It's not easy telling a team like, we believe in you, but you know, we need one more kick at, you know, futures here. But I can tell you this: it was a great feeling 50 games in, not thinking I had to sell off players to get future assets because we were there. And that's a great feeling as a manager.
Thanks, Fitz.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amanda.